huge welcome wherever you are around the world. Welcome to today's Postgrad webinar service. Today, we're joined by the University of Birmingham, who are talking to us all about their MSc in Psychology conversion, which, for those of you that aren't too familiar with what a conversion course is, you're about to find out. But this basically opens it up to a whole host of different people with experiences with perhaps not a psychology background. So this might be applicable to many students around the world that are just not sure but do want to get into psychology. Now, a reminder, today's session is live. It's the 16th of June 2026. So if you are watching in October, please remember that the September start dates would have been and gone already. And if you are watching live, please pop your questions in the Q&A box. I get them directly at the host. My colleague and partner here, Blessing, will be in touch towards the end, answering all the questions that I will ask her. Now, for now, I'll hand you over to Blessing. She'll be taking you through the next probably 30 to 35 minutes, and I'll be back towards the end. Blessing, over to you.
Thank you very much, Gareth. And again, a warm welcome to everyone who's joining us. So I'm going to be talking you through our MSc Psychology conversion that we're delivering here at the University of Birmingham. So this is what I'm aiming to cover over the next few minutes that I'm talking. So I'll introduce you to myself as the lead for this program, and we'll talk a bit about why you might consider converting to a psychology pathway. I'll briefly introduce you to the work going on in our School of Psychology, talk you through just briefly about the admissions criteria for the program, and then talk in depth about what the program is all about and why you should join us at Birmingham to study the MSc Psychology conversion. So, yes, as I said earlier, so my name is Blessing Marandure, and I am the program lead for the MSc conversion here, psychology conversion here at the University of Birmingham. I am an associate professor in psychology, and I know a lot about what it's like studying at Birmingham because I'm an alumnus of the university. So I studied both my undergraduate in psychology and my PhD in psychology here at the University of Birmingham. Left to work at other institutions and returned because I had such a good experience here at Birmingham to take on the role of developing this program and leading it. In terms of the areas of work that I'm interested in from a research and scholarship perspective, I'm very much interested in social justice and intersectional equity in higher education. I've particularly looked at different projects and initiatives around particularly racial equity in higher education. I'm also interested in community and asset-based approaches for mental health. So I consider myself a bit of a rebel psychologist. I like to look beyond the individual and see how their cultural backgrounds, for example, and practices influence the way that they understand mental health and how we can work more closely with those kind of cultural assets in communities to foster positive mental health for people. I use mixed methods in my work, and I've been recently drawn towards participatory and creative methods as well. So why might you think about, starting this journey towards a psychology pathway? And I think the first thing for us to think about here is the value that a psychology degree has. So employers really value psychology graduates. And that's because when you complete a psychology degree, you come away with a range of very attractive employability skills. And I've got a few examples on here but there's lots more skills that you develop by studying psychology. So people who study psychology are able to analyze and make sense of different types of data, which is valuable in lots of different contexts and sectors. We develop critical thinking a lot because we talk about not just taking information in, but really assessing the value of arguments, for example, the value of evidence, how good quality evidence is it? So that critical thinking capability is valued quite a lot by employers. We foster creativity, in the way that you take information, whether it's research, and you synthesize it together to form narratives etc. That takes a lot of creative thinking, and thinking about how we interpret data as well. That's quite creative as well. You develop collaborative skills, so you'll be working quite a lot with other students on the program and have opportunities to work with other people outside of the program as well. So collaboration is quite valued as a key employability skills. And also written and oral communication, you get to develop your ability to write in lots of different ways for lots of different audiences as well, as well as speaking orally and communicating complex information and concept and really distilling them into very simple ways. So, as I said, just a few examples here of why psychology is a valuable pathway to pursue as it opens you up to a range of pathways. So some examples of the kind of careers that you could think about after completing your conversion in psychology. So you could think more around the practitioner psychologist training pathways, whether you are thinking about clinical psychology, health, educational, counseling, forensic, occupational, for example. So those are specialist practitioner psychologist training pathways that you can think about after completing your program. You can also think more broadly about roles that are related to psychology, such as trainee well-being practitioner roles, trainee counselors, working in public health, UX researcher roles, and other types of research roles as well. So there's quite a lot of diversity there in terms of the skills and the subject knowledge that you develop that you can use in other contexts. You'll also be able to enter into more kind of broad graduate entry roles across a range of different fields that you can think about where they're really interested more in the transferable skills that you're gaining by completing a psychology program. So there's value in really thinking about taking a conversion program because it opens you up to a range of different pathways. So I'll talk you through a bit about our School of Psychology here at the University of Birmingham so you can find out about the kind of work that goes on and the student community that we've got within our school. But also thinking more broadly that our school is situated within the wider university. So the University of Birmingham is a global top 100 university. So we're ranked 76th in the world. We have produced 10 Nobel Prize winners over the decades. And we are a large institution. So we've got just under 50,000 students across undergraduate and postgraduate programs, and just over 16,000 of these being international students. So at Birmingham, there's something for everyone. We've got quite a wide, diverse student body that you'll be joining and being a part of. Within the School of Psychology, we've got three main research centers of excellence that are internationally renowned for the work that they do. So, for example, we've got our Institute of Mental Health. And the kind of work that goes on within the institute really looks at understanding the causes of poor mental health, preventing mental health problems from developing to begin with, and responding to established illnesses by developing new treatments and services. So up on the screen there, I've got just a few of the research themes that they cover within the Institute of Mental Health. But I would invite you to follow the QR code in your own time and really read more around our research centers and institutes to really fully appreciate the diverse range of work that is going on within our renowned centers of excellence. So we also have the Center for Human Brain Health, and it's a leading research brain facility that is committed to understanding the fundamental mechanisms of the human brain. So there's a dedicated building for the Center of Human Brain Health, and within there, a lot of work goes into research around neuroimaging methods and AI, for example, looking at topics such as awareness, consciousness, and sleep, looking at lifespan and brain health. There's a few examples of the themes that they cover within the center. And finally, we've got our Center for Developmental Science, And the Center for Developmental Science really looks at research that studies development across the lifespan and looking at diversity within that development as well. So I've got a few examples of research topics that they cover within the Center for Developmental Science, such as reasoning, social cognition, memory, perception, and neurodevelopmental disorders. And as I said earlier, it's worth really taking time to read through just the vast amount of work going on across those centers, but just to give you a brief awareness of what we've got within the school. And then in terms of programs, so the Masters in Psychology Conversion is one of a suite of programs that are delivered within the School of Psychology. We are a large school, and we've got quite a wide range of undergraduate, postgraduate taught, postgraduate research, and professional doctorates that we deliver within our School of Psychology. And also just to say as well that these are only the programs that are delivered within our Birmingham Edgbaston campus. We also deliver internationally through our Dubai campus, and I've not even listed the programs that are developed that are delivered there. We also have some CPD programs that are aimed at professionals, looking at continuous professional development as well that are not listed. So just to give you a flavor of the kind of community that you'd be joining in terms of other students on other programs that will be studying around the same time as well. Okay, so I'll move on to talking a bit more specifically about our MSc Psychology Conversion program itself. So I'll briefly identify what our admissions criteria are, how we've developed and designed the program, and also what is covered within the program in terms of the content, and an indication of the assessments as well, that are covered on the program. So in terms of admissions, to be able to enter onto our program, you need to have a 2-1 or equivalent qualification in any degree subject. So we don't look at what the specific subject you've covered is. It can be any subject that you've covered at kind of a bachelor's level equivalent of a 2-1. For our international students that are applying as well, there's English language requirements. So an IELTS score of 6.5 overall, with no less than 6 in any band or equivalent English qualification, or taking one of our pre-sessional English courses as well. So this is something that can be explored with our admissions team. So thinking more about how our program has been designed. So the MSc conversion is specifically designed for students from a non-psychology discipline. So you've studied something else in the past, or you've studied a major discipline in a different area with a minor in psychology. Whatever your disciplinary background looks like, you're welcome on the program because it's been designed with you in mind. So it's for those people that are wishing to develop their knowledge and skills in psychology and are thinking about entering psychology and related career pathways as well. So it's also open for those who have studied psychology from a non British Psychological Society program, who wish to take on a program that covers that curriculum. So our curriculum standards that we've used to design the program are set by the British Psychological Society, and we're currently going through an assessment for the program to become accredited by the British Psychological Society. And that is work that will be ongoing because the British Psychological Society will need to visit our program and speak to our students as well once the program starts in the autumn. So the program has also been designed to ensure that we're covering core areas in psychology, which I'll talk to you about in a moment, and research methods in psychology. So, as a research intensive institution, the program has really been designed to foster this strong focus on research skills and also wider transferable skills that are valuable for employment more broadly. So, within the program, the kind of topics and areas that we cover showcase the internationally renowned research work and topics that are being explored within our research centers as well. So, in terms of what the program will cover by way of our modules, so we've got a range of modules that are predominantly covered across two semesters, and then with our project in psychology, which runs across 3 semesters that I'll talk about a bit later on. So within the first semester, you'll be studying 3 modules. Each of these modules are 20 credits worth. So 20 credits is an equivalent of 200 hours worth of effort. So that 200 hours is a combination of both independent study and timetabled sessions as well. So on conceptual and historical issues in psychology, and biological psychology, we'll be covering 2 areas. So, conceptual and historical issues in psychology will really dig deep into what we mean by psychology as a science of the mind and human behavior. So, is psychology a science, for example? To what extent can it be considered a science? And when you talk about science, psychology as the study of mind and human behavior, well, which humans are represented in psychology and which are hidden in psychology as well. So, the first part of this module will invite a critical exposition of the discipline of psychology. The second part will focus on biological psychology, and this is where you look in depth at the biological basis of behavior. So, for example, the role of brain structures, connections, and processes, and how that translates to behavior. On cognitive and developmental psychology, you'll be looking at mental processes and development across the lifespan. So, looking at topics such as memory, language, etc., for example. And then you have the first of your research methods modules in semester 1 as well. So this will involve a lot of experiential learning through practicals, and you'll produce your first full lab report, which will be a qualitative lab report, sorry. But the module will cover both quantitative and qualitative methods. In the second semester, you'll cover social and differential psychology. So this will invite you to look at the relationships between the self and others and the environment, together with individual level differences between people. So you can answer questions such as why would 2 people exposed to the same environmental conditions have different outcomes? What are the individual differences that would influence people's outcomes, for example? And then you also look at applied psychology, which is a module that has been designed to really get you to explore the different ways in which psychology is applied to the real world in terms of solving real world issues, much broadly construed. You also have the second of our research methods modules, which is advanced research methods and data analysis in psychology, which will build on this foundations of the semester 1 research methods module. So this covers more advanced methods, and you will also produce a lab report. This time it will be a quantitative lab report that will be produced for this module. So, also in terms of kind of the assessments across our modules, we use a mix of coursework and exams. So we've got coursework such as lab reports, case studies for applied psychology, etc. And then 2 exams. So you've got an exam for the conceptual and historical issues module, and also an open book exam for the research methods module as well. So there are only 2 exams on the program. So the final module for us to look at is the psychology research project module. So this is worth 60 credits. So 60 credits is 600 hours worth of effort. So it's a big chunk of your overall classification at the end of your program. So, although the psychology research project mainly runs in semesters 2 and 3, you've got project choices and supervisor allocations together with the first meeting with supervisors all happening in semester 1. So we do get a bit of an early start for the for the research project. So students get to select options from projects that are being delivered across our research center. And depending on the kind of project that they join, there could be opportunities to join supervisors' research lab meetings if it's appropriate for the project itself. So there's two main assessments for the research project. The first happens in the summer, and it's our PGT poster event. So the research project module is a shared module that you share with other students from across our MSc programs in psychology. And the poster event brings all of those students together. I'll show you pictures in a moment from the last couple of years of our poster event to give you an idea of what this looks like. And during this event, you've got a 15-minute oral presentation of a poster, which is a work in progress poster of your project during the summer period. And that poster presentation is worth 20% of your project mark. And then this will be followed by the final project report submission, which is between 6 to 7,000 words, and it's worth 80% of your overall mark. So these are just a couple of pictures from the past 2 years of our PGT poster event. So it happens in our Great Hall. And incidentally, the Great Hall is also where graduations occur as well. So it's a very well received event by our students. It gives an authentic research conference experience. You get to talk to other students to find out the work they're doing, but also you get to speak to staff within psychology and tell them about your project as well. So it's a great opportunity that just brings that research project to life as well. So I'd like to kind of end with thinking about why you should consider coming to the University of Birmingham to study your MSc Psychology conversion, thinking very briefly about the kind of support and opportunities that we've got on offer here for you. So the first thing to think about really is that when you join the University of Birmingham, you're joining a world-leading university. So there's quite a very strong reputation. It's a marker of excellence and quality in what we deliver. And that has real currency and value in the real world when you're thinking about your next steps, whether you're thinking about going into further study or whether you're thinking about going into employment. So we have really curated an environment that develops your intellectual curiosity, and there's lots of opportunity to make the most of it and take in a lot of the opportunities on offer for you during your time at the university. So you'll be well supported in your studies and also thinking about your professional development and what you might want to do with your program when you finish studying with us. So upon entry onto the program, you'll be assigned a personal academic tutor. And you have a combination of small group tutorials and one-to-one meetings with your personal academic tutor. And particularly the one-to-one meetings really focus in depth on your academic and professional development. So you can talk to your tutor about how things are going, reflecting on the feedback that you're getting from your studies, what you need to work on, but also what you're thinking about using your degree for, and how best we can support you with your ambitions. So you'll be really well supported in terms of during your studies, but also thinking about the next steps following completion of your program. We also have a very well established well-being services team, and they are there really to support you with all aspects of your well-being. So if there are any kind of issues that are affecting your studies, the well-being team are there to help you. And where you need extensions or reasonable adjustments or disability support, they're the go-to team to really kind of make sure that you've got the appropriate support in place to ensure that you can perform to the very best of your abilities. As a student on our program, you also have opportunities to participate within our very vibrant, excellent research community. So, for example, we advertise a series of our research seminars from across our research centers, and you're invited to attend those and really get firsthand first-hand experience of innovative, cutting-edge discipline research that is happening here at the university and beyond through invited speakers as well. So there's really lots of opportunities for you to take in and develop that intellectual curiosity, develop your subject knowledge, but also know what's happening in terms of the research areas, and that can influence your own research project as well. The Careers Network provides lots of opportunities as well, whether it's advertising, voluntary and paid employment opportunities that you can think about in terms of building your CV. But they also have lots of professional development programs that I would recommend that any student who joins us really considers taking up. So, for example, we've got the Birmingham Award, which is the university's employability skills award, which supports students to develop and recognize the skills that they are gaining through the curricular and extracurricular activities that they're taking part in. And it's a really space for you to be able to articulate these skills as a way of preparing for real-world recruitment processes, because whether you're applying for employment or further training, professional training, whatever you're applying for, it's really crucial that you are able to articulate the skills that you've developed as part of your program. So these are some of the initiatives that would really help you to get to grips with that. We also have our UAB Extra period over the summer, which is a program of events and talks that are focused on really developing your employability, developing your sense of community in terms of the other, opportunities to interact with peers, both within the school and outside of the school as well. So it's very valuable to attend some of those events because they're really geared towards developing you holistically as a future trainee or employee, etc. So we've had talks such as top tips for a career in clinical psychology, for example, if that is something that you are trying to explore as possible next steps for your development. So, and I suppose this reinforces why the University of Birmingham, is a leading destination for you to consider. So we are consistently one of the top UK universities that are targeted by leading graduate employers, and this is something that's found across over the past few years. So it's really valuable having a degree from the University of Birmingham because we've got such strong links with employers as well. Birmingham itself is a very great city. It's a very diverse city, very global, orientated, lots of different cultures, lots of different backgrounds represented in the city. So there's something for everyone in Birmingham. It's a great place to study and learn and live as well, because you will find your tribe, your community, whatever interests you've got, they're likely to be represented within our very diverse and vibrant city as well. And also, finally, just to plug it as a really good student city. So, as the UK's second city, you get all the benefits of living in a major global city. Lots to do, lots to see, lots to get involved in, but without the pressure or price tag of living in the capital. So it's definitely worth considering coming to Birmingham and studying with us for those reasons as well. So yes, I think I've used my 30 minutes now. Thank you. And I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Blessing. It's always tough doing it on your own for 30 minutes, but actually the enthusiasm came across really well. So thank you for that. There have been some questions come in and I've been keeping an eye on social media as well. One of the biggest kind of questions that always comes up is the personal statement. Obviously,
Mm,
students quite often forget about the importance of that, especially at a well-ranked university, second largest city in the UK, really well thought of uni. What
mm,
is it that you're looking for from a student when they are, looking at their personal statement? There'll be many students that will use artificial intelligence and use that as a guide,
mm.
for instance. But are you looking for none of that? Are you looking for the real person? Are you looking for their strengths and their weaknesses? What is it you'd recommend to a student?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And to be honest, the more real you can be, the better. I would say that's the first thing. I mean, artificial intelligence is good. Intelligence is good for a lot of things, but what it sometimes does is behind the very colorful language, it really hides someone's passion. So think about, why do you want to study an MSc psychology conversion? Have you done your research in terms of really knowing what the program is about? Have you done your research in knowing what we're doing specifically at the University of Birmingham within the School of Psychology? What attracts you here? So showing kind of where your passion is coming from and being able to showcase that you at least, you've done the homework. This is what's attracting you to study with us. So that's why I gave you the QR code earlier for finding out more about our research centers, because that is our USP. We've got all of this amazing research that is happening within our research centers. Does any of it speak to you? Do you want to find out more about any of that work? So yeah, the more authentic, the better. If you use AI, I would say maybe just use it to kind of, towards the end to tidy things up or to
Yeah.
proofread or what have you, but don't let AI generate your statement for you because it really hides those human related issues that we really want to find out from you.
Another question coming is, although it's a conversion course and it does widen the opportunity to so many different students with different backgrounds and different
Mm.
types of education, what is it that you're looking for? What is it, when a student is applying, what stereotypically kind of background would you expect, given that it is a conversion course?
Mm, mm. Yeah, I mean, there isn't a stereotypical background, so I'll start by debunking that. So all you need is passion, and as long as you meet the entry criteria and you've really done the work, the homework in terms of thinking about why you want to study psychology. So I'll say that's the first thing you need. So the course is definitely designed for all backgrounds because it's a master's level course. So it's going to give you the combination of depth and breadth, in terms of understanding psychology as a discipline. So we are doing we the way that we've designed and we're going to be running the program is we understand that we're speaking to people who might not have encountered anything to do with psychology before. So that shouldn't put you off thinking about, what is they're using the stereotypical student.
Mm.
And I think also thinking about psychology as a discipline, it is a very diverse discipline. It is a very diverse. So there's, specialisms in psychology range. So again, that's why it's quite a nice conversion program to do because to my point earlier, there's something for everyone in psychology. So yeah, short answer is there isn't a stereotypical student, or what we want is just someone who has shown that they understand what they're applying for. They've thought about what they want to use it for and really thought about why Birmingham specifically.
And would this be appropriate if a student wanted to become, let's say, a sports psychologist or a child psychologist? Would that cover all aspects, or would you recommend, if they're looking at that, to go down that discipline specifically?
Yeah, so the way that psychology training works is that you have to cover the foundations first before you go into those more specialized areas. So that's why conversion programs exist, because before you can specialize, you need to know the basics. What is psychology? What are the different areas or branches or theories or methods in psychology? So that is everyone's starting point. So before you can specialize, so that's why I'm saying that's why I spoke about how it
Yeah.
launches you into diverse pathways because that's what it's designed to do. So you can't really go into specialist psychology training without having the foundational training first. And this is what a psychology conversion is. It gives you the foundations to then go into specialists, whether you want to focus on clinical psychology, health psychology, educational forensics, sports psychology, all of that. You have to start from the foundations.
And are there any opportunities during the program to not just do research, but perhaps have an internship or something along those lines to work with local and global partners to help you get not one foot in the door, but work with them to see how they operate? Obviously, you've got the research aspect, and you've got the likes of yourselves who are alumni and other research experts. But is there anything of that ilk that students can tap into?
So we don't have a specific internship or placement assigned with the project of the program. What it doesn't stop students doing is connecting with our careers network and looking at part-time relevant opportunities, whether they are voluntary, whether they are paid. And it also doesn't stop students speaking to our psychology staff and looking at research assistantship opportunities, for example. So it's about being able to think about what is it exactly that I'm interested in? Do I need more experience in terms of working with certain groups of people? If I need experience of working with certain groups of people, then maybe volunteering with charities that work with these groups of people I'm interested in. So you've got the support to be able to do that thinking through our careers network, through personal and academic tutoring, and really tailoring your experience. And the reason why we don't have a set placement is because it's a broad program. And there isn't, we can't kind of have placements that tailor to specific pathways, but also thinking about the fact that we need to be covering that core curriculum set by the British Psychological Society. So it's quite an intense
Yeah.
program as well. Yeah, so but
And
opportunities are there.
And we'll go back to Birmingham, really popular cosmopolitan city. Because of that, and because of the type of program that this is, it's going to attract so many international students. Again, let's just say the September cohort. Are we expecting a certain percentage of international students? If we are, where are they typically from? And likewise, how does that make the classroom great? Because you're getting different expertise from all over the world, aren't you?
We are, and I wish I had what is it, a crystal ball to
Yeah, yeah.
really zone in on kind of where people, but looking at the profile of applicants at the moment, we're getting a lot of interest from international students from places like China, India, etc. So that for me is a bonus because it's particularly when you're studying a subject like psychology. When we talk about people's behavior, that is very much culturally, socio-culturally influenced. So having voices and experiences from different parts of the world, not just different parts of the world, but also even within the UK, from different
Yeah.
socioeconomic backgrounds as well, that just enriches the kind of discussions we can have about psychology, particularly thinking about the fact that we really want our students to look at the discipline in a very critical way, whose voices are represented in our discipline and whose voices are marginalized. And what does that marginalization look like? What does it mean, when we focus too much on the individual? What does it mean for cultures that are more collectivist, for example? So having lived experience of different cultures within the classroom just helps to enhance those conversations.
Yeah, and the international students that will move to Birmingham as well. And it's not just international, it is UK. You are right. I was in Birmingham recently, and you go through the main town centre, you come out the Bullring train station, and you've got so many different nationalities and cultures and different types of food, different societies taking place.
Mm.
It's so great to see. That must be so important for an international student to know that a little bit like London, that although it is a huge city, it's not to the
Mm.
level of London. And actually, there are so many different cultures there and different types of backgrounds and, circumstances for students and non-students. It will help them settle in a little bit easier, won't it?
Certainly, certainly. I think it comes down to kind of seeing yourself represented in your environment, right? Being able to have some sense of affinity or connection, with whether it's food, whether it's people, whether it's activities, whatever it is. And yeah, and to your point, there is really something for everyone. Birmingham is such a diversity. And just walking through our campus, you see lots of different faces that probably look like you as well.
Yeah, it's
So
a
that
huge.
is very
There's about four or
important.
five different universities in Birmingham as well, so it's a very,
Yeah.
very university-centric city. Wherever you go in the city, whether
Mm,
it's on the outskirts, whether it's inside Birmingham itself, there are so many different students in the same boat as you guys.
certainly.
So,
Yeah.
okay, and let's just wrap up there very quickly then. Let's talk about um, how students can apply,
Mm,
what they need to do, what the turnaround times are like at the moment. So a student applies, let's say tomorrow, how quickly they can expect a response. And if there is any kind of objections or there's any problems, if they hit a sticky patch, it does happen, what they can do to overcome that.
mm. In terms of applying, so you apply through our application portal. So if you go onto our website, on our program page, there is a link to go to the application portal through there. So that is the way that you apply, and it really tells you what documents you need. So I would say spend time looking at what the documents required are, because if your application is complete, it's then processed quicker. But if there's missing documents and we need more information, then that would delay the process. So spend time looking at what you need, transcripts, things like that. Your personal statement is ready to go, certificates, etc. Turnaround times are variable. I don't want to put a time to it because that's more within the purview of our admissions team.
Yeah.
But there's peaks and troughs throughout the year depending on how busy it's getting. So I would imagine as people start getting their results in, those with conditional offers, etc., that will create kind of a pinch period where, the admissions team are processing more applicants, etc. So yeah, I would encourage people to if you've just made the decision to apply, go for it. Put your application pack together, apply. The sooner you apply, the sooner you get a response, basically.
Yeah. And please, students, don't leave it last minute.
No,
We've all
certainly
been there.
not. Yeah.
I understand, there's many students that will be waiting for, the Achieving Scholarship application opens soon. And there's so many
Mm,
things that they might be looking at and going, oh, do I need to wait until next year? But please apply because the worst that can happen is you just get a setback and you get given feedback.
mm,
And you can use that to come back even stronger, whether it be with Birmingham or somewhere else, and you can become a better student potentially. So,
yeah.
Blessing, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. If anyone has any questions, please communicate with ourselves or with Blessing. You can see very approachable and should be more than happy to answer any questions. Blessing's details are directly on the MSc Psychology Birmingham page. So please, if you want to reach out, please do. But everyone that's registered for this session, watching live today, watching in the future, we will reach out to you to say thank you for watching and send you a copy of this video. But for now, thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Take care.